Metric Environmental Inc. is Canada's premier water solution and environmental consulting company. Blue Metric provides a full range of environmental consulting services supported by bespoke engineering solutions for emergency, self-contained, and permanent water systems, and is always mission ready with a full range of in-house support to ensure your mission is a success.
And welcome to the Over the Horizon podcast here at Mass 2023, sponsored by our good friends at Blue Metric. I'm Alan Dale. With me as always, my good buddy Jerry Carew, and we are Gale Force Winds. Robert, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Very good. I'm Robert Kendall. I am currently the chairperson for the alternate runway materials committee with the Northern Air Transport Association. And the association basically provides 90% of the air traffic capability in the Arctic across all of the territories.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So all the air service, or the runway services for any air that's coming in pretty much across the Arctic, what kind of alternative solutions are you looking for, and where do you play in that space?
Well, right now what started this off was Boeing announcing some years ago that they were no longer going to provide service for their gravel kits for their 737-200 aircraft, and that's an aging aircraft built sometime in the 60s, 70s, and coming to an end of its service life. In some of the scheduled services provided by companies like Air North or Canadian North or Air Inuit. Charter companies, of course, they're going to continue flying it. They've managed to secure enough spare parts to keep the aircraft going for quite a while to come. But in any event, those communities that are being serviced on a daily basis by airlines, such as Canadian North, and I'm going to say Cambridge Bay and Kuluktuk, are losing their jet service. And what that means is that the carrying capability of the aircraft that will be replacing that are turboprops, and much reduced cargo capability, passenger capability, fly at about 2/3 of the speed of the jets. So it has a large impact on a community that basically relies on aircraft services for 12 months of the year, and for 11 months of the year, really they're the only service going in and out.
So this all comes down because there's just no support for the landing, ability to land.
Once the gravel kit aircraft are taken out of service, then of course the modern aircraft, such as the 737-300 on through to the 800 series, do not have gravel kits and are not allowed to land on gravel.
So you got to figure out another solution.
Right.
And what's that look like?
Well, we've been going through this process for about 5 years, and we're looking at dust blockers and a product called EK35, which is used to suppress dust, but also has the capability of hardening the surface. And however, those products currently are still listed as gravel surfaces. And then we've moved on to an aluminum type surface, and that dates way back to the Second World War, when they used Marsden matting out in the deserts to land bombers and fighters on, and has progressed into an aluminum product called a strategic airfield that's laid in the military sense for maybe 3 to 6 month deployments, picked up expedition. It's an expeditionary type runway. And we've found that one has been operating in a place called 29 Palm Air Marine Training Base since 1976, full-time service.
Wow.
So we know that the product is going to work, and but we have to go through the process with Transport Canada to ensure that it's a product that's safe for commercial use.
Right.
And so the company that's developing that has developed a much stronger, robust surface than what the one at 29 Palm is, but Again, we just have to go through the process to make sure that it's safe for use.
So there'd be quite a regulatory process to go through to ensure an aircraft could land. How far away are we from seeing something like this come into service?
Well, that's a good question. Going through the university testing program, if we did a full test with them, would be 3 years. A limited test with them or a reduced test with them would be 9 months to a year. It's we're going to be taking a crew down to 29 Palm to have a look at the field that's in operation there and discuss with the engineers how well it operates. The data that we can receive from that can be used in our assessment for the commercial version. So we're still in discussions with transport on what will be accepted, what won't. But we've been working with them for the last 5 years now on this. So I would hope within the next 2 to 5 years we'll have it finalized and in place.
What academic institution are you working with on this?
We have been working with the University of Waterloo, their pavement lab. They do tests on all types of pavement, concrete and asphalted concrete. And we're looking at increasing that program. We went up and did a survey of the Cambridge Bay Airport with them, and a rough assessment of what the panel is like. And one of the comments came with that the panel, it looks like it's going to be stronger than asphalted concrete, and what we're concerned with basically is the sub base and the base that will sit on.
Right.
You know, so it's the idea of getting away from concrete and asphalt is you need a plant in order to build the runway.
Right.
You have to have the right aggregate, you have to have the right equipment, you have to have the right expertise and training. And so when you have a ship that only goes in once a year in August, you offload the equipment. You can't do your runway the first year. It has to sit there for a year. The next year they come in and lay the runway, and the next year they take the equipment away. And if you leave the equipment there, then you have to have someone to continue to maintain it if you have a problem.
The supply chain process and logistics in that part of the world are different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
where's the association based out of?
It's in Yellowknife.
In Yellowknife, okay.
Yeah.
And how many people are in this conversation?
Well, right now we have quite a few. We have Boeing, who's assisting us with it. They're an airport compatibility group out of Seal Beach, California. We've got ASL with their matting process. We're looking at working with them as well. Midwest Supply Industries out of the States with their product called EK35. And Cypher Environmental out of Winnipeg with another product called Dust Blocker. And then we're also looking at bituminous coatings called chip seal.
Yes, yeah.
If you know what that is, it's a very thin layer that goes over. Saskatchewan's got about 8 runways laid with that.
Yeah.
So we're going to be looking to see what we can do there, but again, it's another product that needs to have special equipment to lay it.
Right.
And it's the first 2 or 3 years is quite hard, but as weathering takes place, it ends up chipping and breaking, and you end up with the same problem as you have with gravel runways.
Right.
The product may be piling up. So, but very good for turboprop aircraft to be on, like jets, that sort of thing. But when you've got 200,000 pounds coming down on it, maybe it's not the same.
No.
It has the same effect, you know. Yeah. So the aluminum runway is very unique in that it comes in a panel sections, 2 feet wide, and they're 4, 8, and 12 feet long, and they just click in like click flooring.
How thick would they be?
1.5 inches.
Wow.
And so when it comes to a problem where you have frost heave or depression caused by it, in a normal gravel asphalt runway, when you run over that, you're going to get rutting or you're going to get a bump. And to fix it, you have to tear the asphalt apart, get rid of the problem, or fill the hole in and put new asphalt down. But if you don't have an asphalt plant, you can't do it.
Right,
so with the aluminum panels, you just take them apart, fix the problem, put the panels back together. And it can all be done with the maintenance staff at the airport with the equipment that they currently have. You don't need anything special. And to lay it, they can just hire people from the community to come in and work with the engineer to lay the runway.
Yeah. Amazing. Sounds like the technology is there, regulation catching up with the technology. And how much time do we have to get a solution, or are we...
Well, we're looking at the 737s. Well, with I think Canadian North, they took their last 737 gravel kit, 200 out this year. Air North was 2 or 3 years ago. Air Inuit still flies them, but they've just bought 3 737-800 series aircraft, which are converting to combis, so they're going to require some work. But companies like Nolanor, they're going to fly they'll fly the 737-200 for a number of years to come, and can handle some of those shortages with the communities if they charter aircraft to bring with them. So I would say I don't really know how long the charters will run, but I'm sitting back and saying 2025 for the last of the 737s to come out of Air Inuit service, or that
not too far over the horizon.
No, it's imminent, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's no question, and there's only 67 of these aircraft still in operation around the world. So.
Mass, great conference to be having this conversation at. So far, are you having good results at Mass in conversation?
I've just started conversations today, but it looks like it's going to be good. I see people here from the Arctic, so we're going to have a chat with them, working with ASL, and coming up with some solutions there as well. So, and all of this will culminate with meetings that take place in 29 Palm, as they're going to be joining us, as well as a number of others, and come up with a solution.
Robert, listen, thanks very much for coming on the podcast and explaining that. A lot of the folks, fly every week. They're back and forth, and they take for granted when that aircraft lands that everything there is taken care of. But you're showcasing and highlighting, putting heat and light on a challenge in our north that we need a solution for. Thanks for leaning into that.
And we're going to make sure that it's a safe product.
Right.
Before anything else happens. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
BlueMetric wants to partner and work with Atlantic Canadian industries and organizations who are concerned about the water health of our planet and the people who inhabit it in an environmentally and culturally sensitive manner. BlueMetric wants to join the growing number of like-minded, innovative Atlantic Canadian companies who are changing the environmental landscape for the globe in a world-class way.